Hey, it's Tanya with Raymond Talk with Tanya. God laid it on my heart to actually share some of my testimony with you guys. This is actually one of the topics that he had given me to talk about, and this is topic number 36, and it's called my testimony. So I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of what things that I went through, and hopefully it'll encourage you a little bit. The first thing I want to say is that when you say yes to God and you really mean yes to God, buckle your seatbelts. Buckle up, buckle your seatbelts, because you never really know what's going to happen. Okay? You never really know. Buckle your seatbelts and prepare yourself. Um, I asked God to remove everything out of my life that I built on my own. Everything out of my life that that I put there myself, that He didn't ordain for me to have in my life. I completely surrendered all. I just rededicated. I mean, I remember just being on the floor on the side of my bed one day, just praying and crying out to God, just like for a fresh start, and just giving Him my everything, withholding nothing back, just giving Him my all, giving Him my everything. And what I want to say is that when I did that, all hell broke loose. Okay? All hell broke loose. Everything started happening. I began to lose everything. I began to lose my job, my marriage, my car, my house. My career was in shambles. My daughter was 12 at the time, started causing issues in the home. I was fighting for custody of my younger boys. At the time, they were like a year old and maybe like 5 years old, something like that. Man, it was a lot to go through. Everything that I built on my own, God tore down. He tore down. He tore down completely. And I understand. I understand that you know you you can't build a house on top of a house. Okay, you cannot build a house on. If there's a house that's already built, you cannot build a house on top of it. You have to. The first house has to be torn down to the foundation, and then you can build another house on top of that. So, you know, God had to tear down everything because I had surrendered. I surrendered to Him. I told Him, okay, Lord, here I am. You know, I just want You. Whatever You didn't put in my life, take it away. Whatever needs to be in my life, bring it. I just gave Him everything all over again. And I felt like Job for a while, because God, the story about Job in the Bible. God, He took everything from him, but then later on He started, adding back to him. I really felt like Job. I really felt like God had taken everything from me. And I remember lying down in the middle of my living room floor in fetal position. I was home alone. I was laying in the middle of the floor in a fetal position, and I was crying. I was crying so hard. Um, I was crying. I was like, Lord, I feel like Job. I feel like You're taking everything from me. Like I have nothing. Literally, you know, I don't have anything. My family, I felt like at that time, I felt like my family had turned against me. My daughter wasn't there anymore. I was fighting for custody of my kids. My marriage was just done. My job, I was losing the car, losing the house. I mean, everything. And I was crying like a little baby in the middle of the floor. So I say, Lord, I feel like Job, but You restored Job. So when are You gonna restore me? When are You gonna bring me back, help? And I heard two numbers, and at the time in that moment, I didn't really know what those two numbers meant. I heard um, I heard 2016, 2016. Then I saw the number 33. So for a while, I'm laying on the floor and I'm like, what in the world do these two numbers mean? 2016 and then 33. What in the world is 2016? What is that? So I'm laying on the floor and I'm thinking like, Lord, I'm asking you about when you were in store, when you give me these numbers. And it wasn't but a few seconds later that it had dawned on me that my restoration was going to come in 2016, and I was going to, and 2016, I was going to be the age of 33. So that's what those two numbers, that's what they meant. That's what they correlated to be. And I was like, 2016, and it came to me that there was a year, and then I started adding. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm 30. I think I was like 31 or something like that at the time, and I started adding it up, and sure enough, in 2013, I was going to be 33 years old, and that was the year that God was going to restore me. So, wow. So, I laid there, a long time before I actually saw, the correlation. But when I got it, I had so much hope. I had so much hope because I knew that even though I was so low to the ground, right now, I saw hope and I saw a light, and I was like, okay, well, at least I know. I said, well, Lord, what I'm gonna do until then? Like, that was like 2 years. Like, Lord, what I'm gonna do? Man, so year 2016, I wanted to be 33. So I had about 2 years to kind of just see what was, because I didn't know, God was tearing so much stuff up in my life. I didn't know what was gonna happen next. I didn't know how to prepare myself. All I could do was just pray every day and trust God every day, because I literally felt like, I was in this world alone. Like it was a tough time. It was a tough time, but I thank God, of where I am right now. But I was comforted in knowing that it wasn't going to be like that for a while. And also I had a couple of years to go through the storm. There were at some points where, if you can imagine like a storm in the ocean, you can imagine how the waves are really like when it's rough and raging. A lot of stuff was going on in my life at the time. A bunch of stuff like it was. And then there were some seasons, where it would just be a calmness, like still water, just calm. And I wasn't having any issues. But then it'll start raging again. I had a couple of years of back and forth. And man, when the waters were still, that was like moments of peace that I could have. I wouldn't say a complete peace. It was more like I wasn't on the defense. You know what I'm saying? It was more like that. But when it ended, I had the victory. When it ended, I had the victory over every situation. And now, I'm at the point now where I'm letting God build my life. I actually saw in the middle of when I was going through all of that, God showed me he showed me a needle. He showed me a needle. Like, how there's a sewing needle with the thread, and you have to put the thread through the little eye of the needle, and it's kind of difficult to do. I saw a needle, and I saw the eye of the needle. It's tiny. But then I saw an elephant walk straight through the eye of that needle with no problem. With no problem at all. So that was God comforting me, showing me that even though it looked like this is impossible, what you're going through, it's going to be easy for you, and it's going to be smooth. And when God showed me that vision of that elephant going through that needle, I relaxed because I knew he had me. I knew he had me. And another vision I had, God showed me, he showed me walking. He showed me I was walking through, it's kind of like when the Red Sea had parted and the water was just up in the air, and then, they went through, the Israelites, they went through and on dry land. Well, that's what I saw. I saw like I saw myself, and I had my boys. I had one. I was holding their hand, my boys, and we were just walking through. And hold on, let me plug up my computer. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, sorry about that. So I saw myself with my boys walking through the middle of an ocean, and the water was just parting. We were just walking straight through. So that was God showing me that I was going to have victory in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So and I did. You know, I had victory. You know, God even gave me the morning of a court date I had. I I was in court so much back and forth, fighting for this and fighting for that. People thought I worked there because my background is in social services, and a lot of cases I had to, you know, go to court back and forth, you know, with children in foster care and stuff like that. So they thought that I was working there. That was there just that much. But yeah, so the morning of court, you know, one morning God gave me the brought the story to my spirit of Jehoshaphat. You know, how he had the victory before he even went to fight the battle. You know, God had given me so much comfort in the middle of what I was dealing with, in the middle of what I was going through. I thank him. So now, you know, where I am now, it's a blessing because, you know, God strictly, you know, when I gave it all to him, he tore everything up. Everything that I built without seeking God first. I mean, from my career, everything that I did not seek God on first, everything, he tore it up. He just came like a whirlwind and just ripped it all apart. And he started rebuilding my life the way because I gave him the authority to do it. I gave him, you know, I gave him dominion to do it. I surrendered to him. You know, I offered it to him. Okay, Lord, here's my life now. You know, so you build it the way you see it, the way you ordained it to be, the way you ordained my life to be. Here you go. Here's my life. You do it, Lord. When I did that, everything happened. You know, all kind of stuff. I went through. I went through hell. I went through hell on earth. I really felt like I was going through hell on earth. You know, so not to go into detail about the situations. There may be other videos in the future, you know, as he leads. I don't know, but I still have to protect the people that I care about. So the point of the video is, when you surrender to God, when you say yes to God and you mean it, he may come in and tear everything up that you didn't have authority to put there, the things that you built on your own, the things that you brought in your life on your own, that you did not seek God about. He will tear it up. But in order for him to build your life the way he wants it built, he has to tear down what you built on your own. He has to tear it down. So what I'm saying is, you may go through some things in the beginning, but he's going to be with you. He's never going to leave you. He's never going to abandon you. He's never going to forsake you. He's always going to be there. It may feel like he is always going to be there. He is not going anywhere. He's not going to leave you. He will be there. But you have, it's going to take a lot of prayer and fasting and discipline to just stay the course, you know, until he brings you out of it, you know. So just, you know, be encouraged, but just know, when you say yes to God, be willing to give up things that you really thought, you know, were placed by him, that you may not have sought him on, just because you feel like it may be the right thing. It may not. Even with marrying people, sometimes we think just because a person is a Christian and we have the same morals and values, that don't mean that's your husband or your wife. It doesn't mean that. If you don't take time to seek God, just because y'all have things in common, and you know, y'all clicked, or you know, had, you know, and you feel like, hey, they're a Christian, I'm a Christian, we had some of the same God, man, look, you better seek God about it. Seek God, because once you give it to him and be like, okay, Lord, I want you be willing for him to he's going to take full control if you allow him to. He will take full control if you allow him to. So that's part of my testimony. You know, I said yes to God, and from there, all hell broke loose. But he had to build me. He had to build me up. He had to put me to where he wanted me to be, not allow me to continue to live life the way I thought that I should be living my life, making decisions without seeking him, doing this and that without asking him first, not being led by him, doing what everybody else was doing, or just doing what I think felt good or looked good. You know, I didn't seek him, you know, but now I see God on everything. Lord, what you want me to eat today? Let me tell you, it's so important to have a relationship with God. I don't want to go down any more roads that I'm not supposed to go down. I don't want to make any more mistakes. You know, I see God in everything. Sometimes it's like, hey, Lord, what you want me to put on today? And then something in my closet will stick out to me, and I'll put that on. Even the simple things, I see God on, because you just never know why he may have you eat certain things or wear certain things. You just never know. And you won't know all the details of everything. It's just our job to be obedient. We may not always know the ins and outs. Just like you working for a company at work, there's policies and procedures in place. We don't always agree with them. We don't even know why they're there half the time, but we follow them because that's just what the policies and procedures are. We have to do that. So God may not always reveal to us the reasons behind everything, but we trust him enough to know that he is the Alpha, he is the Omega, he is everything in between. So it doesn't matter what, you know, we think about it. We know that he's the author and finisher. So we trust him 100%. Some of us want to know too much stuff. And some of us don't want to just let him be God, let him be in control. You know, so sometimes he has to sit us down to let us know that, hey, I'm in control. You don't run. So he has to let us know who's in authority. So sometimes he allows things to happen. But I just want to share a little bit of my testimony, you know, saying yes to God. It kind of, you know, I went through some things after that because he had to tear down everything that I built, you know, but he built my life to where he wanted it to be. And now I can be a testimony for other people. So I hope that blessed you.